So I think we're both tired. I'm getting that vibe.
You know, I'm not so much tired as I'm disgusted with myself. But you know what? I'm disgusted with myself because I'm just disgusted with myself for stupid reasons. You know, there are people in this world, probably relatives of mine, who I never met, who were in the Holocaust,
who are more disgusted with themselves,
who weren't like, I can't find my keys. I'm late for Josh again. I said I would never be late again. Now I'm 6 minutes late.
Right.
Now, can that go along with the same thing? I lost all my family in a genocide. Do all those?
I mean, that's how I imagine the Kindler ancestors handling it.
All of my why did they go? Well, I told them not to go on that train.
I paid for a first class ticket.
Oh my God, that is like, you know. That would be the second least funniest movie in the history of time. Would be me at kind of complaining.
After
Excuse
the
me.
day the clown cried?
Yes. Okay. Excuse me. Last week I had something here. I don't know what it was. Was it a cinnamon crisp? I mean, at Krasik, I used to love to do the two complaining Jews.
At Auschwitz?
Yeah, because, well, not at Auschwitz. We don't say the name of the camp.
Okay. Ashbergen.
Ashford, were you more into Ashford or were you more into Simpson?
I was definitely a Simpson.
Why do you, it seems like now that you have taken like a class of the groundlings since we started.
I have to answer every rhetorical question.
Yes. Have you taken a podcast class?
Clearly no.
I saw on Portlandia. I know you told me, Andy, when you see something funny on TV,
please
can you come in and relate it to
form.
us and destroy it? There's an episode of Portlandia from their last season, which is on now, and where he says where they're doing a documentary of the police department because the police had a choice of going with the body cameras or the podcast of their activities. So it's just Fred Armisen and Carrie Brownstein, you know, like just hosting the podcast. See, I know, I see your face, and I say, you must want some entertainment. What's the point of recounting things?
No, I'm trying to visualize the word picture you're painting.
In other words, it's Fred and Carrie. They both have wigs on, which they love to do, which I love about the show.
Yeah.
And then they have musicians playing podcast music, and they're narrating the morning lineup at the police station. We're trying to. The police aren't happy about it, but the guy says he had a choice between the podcast and the body cameras.
Gotcha. That's your underlying premise.
Are you going to cut the whole thing out, or are you going to start the whole thing now? Which one?
I'm going to let music play through this.
Do you ever have music play through the whole show?
I never had
background?
music, no.
You ever wonder when I start a question with this much effort, if it's got to be terrible at the end?
You're in kind of a talking trance. There's no eye contact. You're kind of just talking out into space.
What have I done? Am I channeling something? Am I channeling someone, or in my sleep state, am I even more rude than I am in regular life? What? Are you talking to me? I cannot see. My eyes are closed. Dreaming.
So you seem a little sluggish, I guess, is my.
Did you go to? Did you go to?
I'm a little sluggish. I'll start. I'll fess up. I'll fess up at the beginning.
Now, why would you be a guy
I
like
woke up
you?
at like 6 this morning.
Why did you go up so
Literally,
early?
my first thought was like, "Oh, good, I get to do a podcast in 15 hours."
Isn't that the worst?
It is.
What?
It
No,
was
it's
like
not
morning
the worst,
radio
though.
feeling.
Why? Okay, because is that your first thought?
My
when you
first
get
thought
up?
this morning was literally like, "Holy shit, it's early, and I have to do this thing at 9 tonight."
Oh, and what time did you attempt to go to sleep?
I don't know.
Have
Not
we talked
that
about
late.
your sleep?
No, because
It's not interesting?
not that interesting.
And you don't think you have problems sleeping?
I have more problems than I'd like, less problems than someone with sleep problems.
So in other words, do you snore?
I don't think I do much anymore now.
And
Since I quit the smoking and lost the weight, I think, especially.
but what would get you up at 6 if you got up at 6?
I just pop awake now. Part of it's dog related.
Oh, because the dogs make a noise.
Dog wakes up right around that time.
Why did they wake up then? What kind of
I don't know.
beast are
Dogs,
they? No,
especially our popular Lucky. She likes. She gets into ruts. She will get on a scheduled jag.
Okay, so when she gets up, can't you take her to obedience school? Walkie? Stay asleep? Why do I say walkie? Was there someone who said walkie?
That's a lot of people will say.
No,
that.
but there's a British lady. Walkie?
I don't know.
There was a very famous British lady who was strict with her dogs. And
Queen Elizabeth.
I saw a special about Queen Elizabeth. Did you know that she was in the 1600s? What is the difference between her and the other Queen Elizabeths, is what I was saying to myself. Do you know anything about... I knew nothing about this. Then there's a King James. He's trying to separate all the church stuff. The Catholic Church, the Protestant Church, and James was supposed to be a wild man. But I don't understand. Is Queen Elizabeth still ruling, or is she dead in the special I'm watching? How long did she rule for? You don't really know, right?
Not really. A few decades, I believe. Daughter of King Henry VIII.
Oh, hadn't see that right then. Is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping would be supplied. Okay, he's a daughter of, and that has nothing to do with the Herman's Hermit song, right? That is not a documentary.
It's not a documentary, but there was some facts in it.
She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was... What, she's been married to 8 Henrys? Is that a joke song? She wouldn't take a Willie or a Sam? That's a terrible song, and it makes me angry at the Herman's Hermits.
Yeah.
What did they do that was good? Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
That ain't bad.
Daughter. First of all, why were they going the other way? Everybody was trying not to sing British. And they're like, hello, lads. We're the Hermits.
Because it was the British invasion.
Yeah, that's when everyone wanted to be British.
Yes.
Now, people try and...
That's when kids from Detroit were singing with a British accent.
Yeah, and then there was this other group, Dave Clark 5.
Yes.
Or,
Here we come again. Woo.
Shmee, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they was, Dave Clark was a handsome, they all look handsome to me. I would have slept with any of, if I was in the mood to sleep with British invasion people, I would have gone for the low-hanging fruit. This character that I've concocted in my head is a male groupie.
A male groupie.
A male groupie from the 60s.
With bad self-esteem.
Don't you think, in a sense, all groupies have bad self-esteem? Not really. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
In a sense.
In a sense. Two people who know less about the human psyche.
No, but I've spoken extensively with Pamela Des Barres.
Oh.
Author of I'm With the Band.
Oh, I see.
Some would say the premier groupie.
Right. I see. Okay, so you asked her, is that a little personal? You're asking her questions?
She's pretty free-flowing with the information.
That's all I would ask her.
Well, it's pretty funny, actually, because I showed up to interview her.
Yeah.
About, it was about her ex-husband, Michael Des Barres.
Right.
And, and their life. And so I show up to her place with my crew, and she's like, she's not ready, and she's like, come on in, get set up. And she's like, and I'm sort of making small talk, and she's like, happy to do it. I don't really want to talk about anything personal, but anything else.
Oh my God.
Like,
well, why would she?
And I'm like, well, I have to tell you, my agenda is a lot of personal. Because it's about,
It's about personal stuff.
Yeah. And so, she wanted to get Michael's,
approval.
Permission.
So what'd you do?
Because, apparently this had happened before with like an True Hollywood Story.
Is this the thing where, did he throw did one of them get thrown out of the window, or am I mixing up stories?
None of them got through out a window, no. And there was no violence between the two of them ever.
Right. Oh no. Yes, she hit him. She hit him when he came home once. Remember?
No, this was his first wife when she discovered the
Didn't she punch him in the head?
She hit him with a guitar.
Oh my God, I love that documentary. Now you might say you love it, but you don't remember every detail. I remember more details about that documentary than I remember about my life.
That's good.
On the B list.
Because it was better told.
Oh, I don't like that. See, Josh, I'm trying to keep it positive after our big fight. Oh, we should make up that we had big fallings out. Things like that.
I don't think I think, by year what it'll be real.
Every Monday, you want to know my pre-show
ritual?
Ritual, not a ritual, it's a panic.
Okay.
Around 6 o'clock, I say to myself, you know what you're going to do before the show tonight? You're going to answer some of those emails. Look around, see what's happening on the web.
Yeah.
see how we're doing on the web, and come into the show prepared. And I never do. And I'm late again. I was late 5 minutes. It's like all I care about is being here on time because of how mean you were that one time.
I don't
Remember when you pulled a gun on me?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
said,
mean. I thought,
over here.
I think, hey, that's showbiz is what I think.
Climb in the back seat. Nice. For some reason, you kept going nice and easy now. Nice and easy.
It's like a Phil Spector thing. I was just trying to get the best
Phil
performance.
Spector, first of all, people make fun of him because of his hair. I thought his hair was good. It was a good choice.
Yeah. Also, the shooting people and threatening John Lennon with a gun.
I don't remember him.
He pulled a gun on John Lennon
God.
at one point, yeah.
There were these guys. I'm surprised there weren't more people from that time period who shot people. But he was a particularly, I think he had some problems at Phil Spector, like a little bit of control issues.
Maybe that.
That's what I'm thinking.
A wall of problems, if you will.
You know what's amazing? When you actually get excited enough to deliver the joke, your head goes to the left.
Yeah.
You come up the top of the mic and boom.
Right. Well, I think you help it by narrating my head position.
Now who's what's the word you said? Struggling? What is it? Sluggish.
Sluggish.
My whole game is to somehow, now who isn't coming up with something to say? Oh, now what would be the point of this kind of approach? It's ready to go?
Well, we're in a golden age of whataboutism, so.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, Josh.
Yes?
I have so many, what it is I have so many offers for podcasts with heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Heavy hitter. Who would a heavy hitter be?
Will you please go on them and talk about our lightweight podcast then?
What's that?
Will you please go on the Heavy Hitters podcast and talk about our lightweight podcast?
Well, yesterday, I got to tell you something. I saw something so great. This might be one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And what am I guilty of more than anything else?
Hyperbole.
Right.
Yes.
I was watching the Johnny Carson. Uh-huh. And there was a show from February of 1975. And they were an hour and a half back then.
Right.
And Mel Brooks came out and was literally on the show for about 45 minutes.
Right.
It was like, at one point, Johnny says, "Oh, I'm just so glad," because Mel starts to bother other people. You could see he had a little bit of a Robin Williams-y type thing.
Yeah.
But he was, I shouldn't have brought up Robin Williams. Why do I always bring up? But it seemed like, so when the next person came out, who was Susan Blakely.
Yeah.
She was like a model actress. Then he
can't quite dial it back and not be
No,
involved.
so he was all over her. And it was fun. And at one point, you could tell he felt weird about it. And then Johnny goes, no, I'm just glad. I've been trying to get you on the show for so long. So maybe he had been on the Tonight Show before, but he hadn't been a frequent guest. I mean, I have never seen him, first of all, at this age. It was 75, so he was 50 years old.
All right.
He was born the same year as my dad and Susan's dad. And just unbelievably funny. I know, again, now I'm in the realm of explaining it again, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody that funny. Also, really seemed to be like excited, like his career was exploding because it was Young Frankenstein.
No, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't know. They were talking about Young Frankenstein. They didn't know it was going to be a hit. You could see how you wouldn't know if that movie you could pull it off.
Right.
And
it was like the first time he was actually using his clout to make something that he really believed in.
And he had an outtake reel of Gene Wilder cracking up.
Yeah.
And these were unbelievable. I mean, just like Marty Feldman.
Yeah.
And Terry Garr. I mean, you just can't believe how much fun they must have had doing this movie. And they're just constantly cracking up. And it's just, I know my thing is pale in comparison, but I feel like so many things in my life I've missed because I'm always hesitant to say, like, Letterman's my guy because he's from my generation more.
Right.
I didn't see a lot of this Carson stuff. I knew he was great, but I didn't see a lot of it. And when you see him too, you realize he sometimes looks uncomfortable. He's not as smooth as Letterman would say that he was. I don't know if you ever, like, Letterman would always go, I wish I could be like Johnny every time he was out there. I think he was actually, you could tell he was going through ups and downs during the show, but it made it compelling to me. I mean, he really was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he was moody, though. I mean, you can see that.
Yes, you can see he was moody.
Yeah.
So he's more in common with Letterman in that kind of way, right?
I think so. I think he was, I think especially in his very later years, he was so on autopilot and he was such an icon that there wasn't, it was a different animal than 20 years earlier, like when he had just moved to L.A.
Yeah.
He was the king of show business in a lot of ways,
The thing I understand, they covered, I recommend anybody see this if you can, February something, 1975. I mean, they covered so many topics. Like, I don't know much about Mel Brooks, but he talked a lot. I mean, I know about him, but I know about him like not an expert would know about him.
Right.
I never saw your show of shows or watched it that much. I mean, I've seen pieces of it.
I went to a Caesar's Hour panel at the Writers Guild years
when
ago.
was that?
It was probably 95.
When Mel Brooks was on there, right?
It was everybody. It was Mel Brooks, it was Reiner, it was Neil Simon, and Danny Simon, and Larry Gelbart, and the Mel, the head writer guy. I can't think of his last name.
Not Max Liebman.
No, not Max.
No, he's
Liebman.
dead, right? Yeah.
But it was an incredible panel. And even there, you could tell he irritated people. Like
so funny.
40 years later, they were still all like, "Okay, Mel, yeah."
He tells the story about. Now, I've heard this from Sid Caesar,
And I met him in person on the Sony lot a few times when I was working there.
Oh,
and he was
he nice?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And in person, he's still performing.
I know that he reminds me of Albert Brooks that way, except Albert Brooks in a way is more effortless.
Yeah, but
right?
Albert Brooks, I think if you meet him, doesn't perform for you. I think he's an introvert when you meet him.
At parties, he would if he was with all
maybe.
the
I don't know. I don't know if.
Well, that's what Rob Reiner said because he was talking about he's on WTF and he was saying that one time there was nobody funnier than Albert Brooks at a party, and one time he called and he said to Rob Reiner, "Can you bring my wallet down because he forgot his wallet, but he already closed his set for the night.
Yeah.
He couldn't come. He had killed.
Right,
he didn't want
left.
to come back into the wallet. So, effortless. I mean, just you could tell first of all, you could tell that the amount that I don't know about the history of things is amazing in a way.
Yeah.
Like, what was I thinking the other? Like, I forgot who they were talking about. But I just I wasn't the first person to make fun of other comics. Whatever it was like these guys were, not that I thought I was the first person to do this, but these guys were like so loose, and so I can't even explain it really. They were so loose on this, and Mel and Johnny Carson, you could tell had what Jay Leno never had. Carson had a real love for him.
Right.
Brooks and a curiosity.
Showbiz was a much smaller club in those days too, though.
Definitely was.
It was 3 networks. It was 4 major studios or whatever it was, and and people are like guests on the Tonight Show like 7 times a year.
Yeah,
it was like,
but that was what I was actually surprised by, that he hadn't been on.
Right.
Much.
He was on subsequent after that though quite a bit.
I think he was. Yeah, that's what I think. But I couldn't believe there was so much homophobia on the show.
Yeah.
I have never in my life seen. I think Mel Brooks. It is like you forget the level at which I forget maybe,
right.
but that gay people were ridiculed.
Oh yeah.
Because Mel Brooks, without realizing it, seems to be doing this. Well, hello, he seems to be doing a gay character at certain points, and they're all laughing a lot about it. So
totally common though. It was like
totally common.
It was like a totally common go-to thing.
Right.
Well, hello.
And so I just didn't remember it being so that way.
Yeah, it's shocking when you see it now. I mean, and you go, all right, yeah, I think that is progress.
In fact, a couple of things that he said, I don't think you would say now on TV.
Yeah.
And then people will go, oh, yeah, Bill Maher go, yeah, those were the days, I guess.
All right. Yeah, no, there was like nightly hate crimes back then.
Yeah, of course. And, but he told the story, Mel Brooks, about Sid Caesar. And I've heard this before about Sid Caesar, that he's like an extremely strong man and a powerful guy. And and could be violent too. So some guy was yelling at him at a stoplight.
And he pulled him through the little window.
Yeah, where'd you see that?
He tells that story all the time.
Oh, so that's a Mel Brooks story.
Yeah, no, Mel Brooks has kind of a...
Oh, he has a shtick?
He has a cabinet of stories, and you see them in many forms and many times. But yeah, no, it was like someone honked at him,
Right.
And Sid Caesar goes and pulls him basically through the
Yeah.
triangle
Have you ever
window.
you want to re-experience birth? Or do you remember your birth?
Right.
Would you like to re-experience it?
But there's a story of him like dangling Mel Brooks out a window too.
Yes. And Mel Brooks seemed like Max Liebman. He was like Max Liebman didn't like him, and people. You know, he was like, he was one of these people that they were basically stop it, Mel.
Right. Well, I think he was one of the. Yeah, I mean, and that happens in any writing room.
Right.
If somebody can't shut up or won't stop pitching, you know, or is so certain their pitch is the one,
Right.
that's not an attractive thing. I mean, it's nice when they score often.
Yes.
You know, but there's plenty of people who just think, this is it. This is it. You know.
But you know what's funny?
There's nothing worse than hearing, this is it in a pitch room.
Well, I know. I have heard that about many people over the years. I'm not going to bring up their names because what's the point? But, well, the point would people would like to hear it, but I'm not going to do it because I have some sense of decorum or whatever.
Sure. Some sense of future.
But, what else was I going to say? I guess that's all I was going to say about that. It was so much fun to watch this thing. And also to watch, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The fact that it was an hour and a half and that you just couldn't even remember what the beginning of what Mel Brooks was talking about to the end of what he was talking about.
It's so evocative, though, too. It so puts me back in my parents' living room, you know.
See, I don't remember doing that as a
Fighting
kid.
to not go to bed, you know.
Right. Well, at one point, Johnny Carson...
Because it was 10:30 in the Midwest, so it wasn't quite
as risque. Oh, it wasn't quite as late.
It wasn't quite as late for a
Yeah.
little kid.
I forgot what I was going to say. Well, that's no great thing. Oh, yeah. At one point, Johnny Carson says to Mel Brooks, he says something about people who make fun of his comedy. You know, like, what do you think about people? And then you could tell Mel Brooks was like, you know, basically fuck him. You know, he didn't even said fuck him.
Right.
But the thing was that it really kind of brought up what not bothers me Mel Brooks, because I think he's hilarious. But I never loved the baked bean scene in Blazing Saddles. You know, I wasn't as crazy about the outrageous stuff.
Right.
But I think he's kind of saying, I don't think he distinguishes between, because, you know, Spaceballs, I didn't see those movies, but he gets pretty shticky.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had his sweet spot, which was the 70s, you know.
Yeah.
It kind of ended with, like, History of the World, Part 1.
Is that the one with him and Reiner?
No.
What's the 1,000-year-old man thing? That's him and Reiner. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was 20 years before that. But History of the World Part 1 was his movie, which was a bunch of...
I never saw that.
Really? There's lots of funny stuff in it.
Was it like cartoons?
No.
Were there cartoons in it?
No, there was no cartoons in it.
I think I bailed on him. I didn't even like the movie High Anxiety that much.
No.
Did you like that a lot?
Yeah, I liked High Anxiety.
Producers is the greatest movie, but I still say it's about halfway through and then it goes off the rails. Do you think it goes off the rails, or do you think I'm being too picky by looking at my favorite movies?
No,
That's what I do all the time.
It gets beaten up by the end.
It's always like those Marx Brothers movies. You know, whenever it gets to be a chase.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Marx Brothers movies, because the rhythm never breaks.
Right.
It's a relentless, same kind of rhythm going all the way through that it gets a little boring.
Yeah, it's too one note or something. I just met some people who didn't know who W.C. Fields was. That made me a little sad.
My wife had just had an entire class of students, and granted, it was weighted towards 18-ish year olds. Didn't know what The Simpsons was. And there were some immigrants there too.
Wow.
But this is a college class.
Who are the Simpsons?
She made a reference to The Simpsons, and they just did not know what she was talking about.
There's two sides of that. The one side is there's always been people like, how do you don't know who Mickey Rooney is?
Right.
How come you can't? Mae West, you don't know? There's always been people like that. I'm sure I've been guilty of that.
Right. You just started it with W.C. Fields.
Yeah, why am I? Yeah, I'm the one who started it with this current. How could you not know who W.C. Fields is? But the truth is that there is so much information coming through. Like, I don't even really know who Lord Byron is. If I wasn't a Bob Dylan fan,
Right.
I wouldn't know half of the. I wouldn't know half of the literary references I know. like from Desolation Row. I don't even know what he's talking about half the time.
Right.
So, like, I don't really know do you know who Lord Byron was? He was a poet of some type?
He was a poet.
And he was good, right?
Yes, he was.
And Warren Zevon sang about him, too.
Did he?
Yeah. I feel like I missed that generation where you are steeped in history and images from before. You know?
Yeah, because you had TV the whole time.
That might be why, right?
Probably. That was your paradigm for entertainment.
And not great TV. That's the thing that bothers me. When I think back of, what were your favorite shows?
Like Byron was a romantic figure outside of being a poet too. He was an authority flaunting,
See?
risque poet.
This is, this. What happened to me? Was I like Greg Kinnear? Was I taken out of the country at a certain point? I have no basis of real world history. I have but why do I complain about? Why don't you just get a goddamn book and stop complaining about it?
Fucking, you can just Google any question you have.
What was that History of the World, or Howard Zinn's The People's History of the World?
The People's History.
Is that a good?
I've never read it. I own it, but I've never read it.
I want one book that's about 200 pages long.
Yeah.
Gives me the skinny.
Tells you everything.
1812. The war. Bang, boom. I just don't know about a lot of these things, but I'm constantly attracted to I wanted to have grown up in Staffordshire or Windsor,
yeah,
McLean. I love these British places and lanes. And
Allison is going to Oxford.
She's going
to Oxford this summer.
Unbelievable.
For a week.
And she's going to probably be there with Piers Morgan and all my favorites.
Sure.
What is she studying?
Yeah,
there?
she's going to study, I think, Irish short stories.
Oh, my God. And what, are you going to?
No. She's going to Oxford to study.
Why don't you take Well, you could enjoy England.
No, it's her nerd fantasy camp experience.
And who's she going with?
No one.
Oh. Hello. She will
find others like her. She's literally like staying in a dorm room at Oxford for a week.
Can she Madonna it up, though? If she stays somewhere, will she sound British by the time she gets back?
Probably. She was born there. So
right.
It's right at the edge.
And
she fought hard to get rid of it when she came because she was a little kid and she was teased for it.
Oh, so she didn't.
So she.
Did she ever say top of the morning to you, or to see on the telly, or take the lift?
No, she does not say any of those.
How
things.
old was she when she moved to the States?
She was 8.
That is old enough to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But then you could quickly forget.
She also lived in India for part of that time.
This is unbelievable to me. Now, I hear there's a British-Indian connection, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yes.
But that used to be a colony of Britons. Don't kid yourself. I'm going to pass myself off as the curious guy.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, that Indian thing with the T and Ceylon.
Go on.
Go on, that. Mr. Weinstein. Please come in here this minute, Mr. Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein, I'm having terrible, terrible time with my British accent. Could you please help me? I'm trying to do something like that's more like Liverpool, the Beatles. Can you help me, Mr. Wine? Can you help me, please, Mr. Weinstein? Work on my British accent.
Do you want me to come in and wash your dick for you, you little shit?
Josh has great voices, and that was the voice of Sir John Gielgud.
Why, yes, it
from
was
the movie
Arthur,
which is still one of my favorite movies.
You're a good son, Arthur.
Oh, that movie makes me cry.
Yeah, it
holds up
solid,
too, right?
Yeah, it's the one instance where Liza Minnelli doesn't irritate.
Well, I thought she was good in The Star of Cuckoo too.
Okay, sure.
You can see that?
No.
Oh, she was good in that one.
Okay.
I'm
not going to stand corrected, but
I also like when
I will put my opinion in escrow.
It's a classic. It's a classic '60s movie.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you haven't seen it, so I can lord it over you.
Oh yeah. I feel the sting. Ow.
I like when she would do like songs like "Yes, and it's going to be the Wizard." Wasn't that her, the Wizard of Oz?
No, not so much.
You'll be great. That's not her either, is it?
No, that's Ethel Merman.
Do you know that Ethel Merman was married to Ernest Borgnine, I think?
I did know that.
I just love that.
I don't think they had any really ugly children, but I don't know.
But you would
for
think
sure.
that they would. Now, that's the thing. I was very attracted to Ernest Borgnine. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was Marty.
I would love when Chris Elliott on the old Letterman show would joke about dating Maud or something. You see, again, I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to go to the doctor this week and see what it is about this thing that I have about, I have a great story, and it's not a good story. I can't even tell good jokes.
Well, I'll be interested to hear what your doctor says about your storytelling.
Well, my brother came to town today, just briefly.
Really?
Brother Robert Kindler had a.
Did you see him?
Yes, he came in and he's a mover and a shaker. He's a mergers and acquisitions guy with Morgan Stanley, and he had like he was conducting.
Was he merging or acquiring?
Oh my God! This is the type of thing that I should have checked. So yeah, he hung out in our house for a while. Oh, it was fun. I love seeing him. I have family. I don't know why you give it so short shrift. My family.
No, I think your family's great.
What's happened with us?
I don't know.
What was last week? Is there something that happened that we should talk about over the week?
Why? What are you feeling?
Well, because I feel okay. I'm more and more slipping into a thing where I can't remember what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm more, and don't go. And the thing is, a lot of people say you should go have things checked out. Don't. I think what you should do is keep looking it up online and delaying.
See, but you're acting like as if there was a script here, because like you just like launched off and started talking as if you were broadcasting. So
Right.
to think that you're veering from some agenda, I don't think there was one. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you were just talking to talk, and anywhere it took you, you would go.
You mean in life in general?
Well, no, particularly here. I mean, life in general.
Do you think I had
that you need to focus a little more and get, smoke less pot or eat less pot. That'll help too.
Wait a second. Hold it. Where is first of all, I like where this is going, but where is it coming from?
Nothing.
You never confronted me on my slovenliness.
I'm not confronting you. I'm just saying that there are things you can control.
Why do you think I'm smoking too much pot?
Because you told me that you bought every product from the weed store.
That's true.
And you've sampled them.
But you're
all.
not supposed to blow my cover. I'm supposed to be like a guy who knows how to keep it.
I'm not scolding you.
I know you're not scolding me.
I fucking love weed. Totally love it.
Yeah, but
you're the one who's having short-term memory problems, and they aren't compatible things.
No, they are compatible, right?
Well, I mean,
The short-term memory problems with the
yes,
weed.
they are. Those two things are compatible, but trying to not have short-term memory problems and doing weed.
Yes. So you're saying there are well, of course, there's solutions to my problems, but it's more fun to not be able to quite remember the thread of everything. And they love it. That's what they love on the podcast. That's my favorite listeners. Oh, watch out. Let's take a drink every time Andy loses his place.
I feel I don't want to veer into school marm territory, because that's not what I mean. I'm just saying that there are some parts of this mystery that can be answered, is what I'm saying.
Well, I've tried, and I've done very well about not smoking any pot near game time.
I'm not complaining. This is not me complaining.
No, I know you're not complaining, but I'm warming up for if I thought you were complaining, because then I get to go into defensive mode.
Right. No, I swear it's a legitimate, like, hey, that's something maybe you should think about if this thing is bothering you that much on a daily basis.
Well, what happens is, putting aside the short-term memory things, I go into that pot store, and I buy so many things. Like the woman said, there was this hibiscus pot juice.
Yeah.
Pot. And it seems
so why wouldn't you want that?
But they still throw around numbers. Okay, so they still say. She said this bottle has 200 milligrams of THC in it. She goes, they're changing the law. They won't be able to sell this anymore.
Right, you can't sell the mega doses like that.
So she's saying, while they're here, they're here. I think she was encouraging me to buy. I should have bought more, but I didn't. I just bought one. But I'm buying all the various different types of things because I think am I writing a book about it? And there's nothing I won't try. There's nothing I won't try.
Right.
My favorite is the bubble hash.
Yeah.
Have you tried the bubble hash?
I have not tried the bubble hash.
And then did you understand when I texted you a picture of my thing that I was vaping?
I did after. Yeah, you just showed me a bot.
Have you tried that stuff?
I have not. No.
But there's a big difference between that stuff that makes you cough. Actually,
Yeah.
This is stuff that you. I thought people said that if you were talking about pie, you can't help but be interesting. Oh, I also have I had a fruit roll up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they say there's 10 doses on this one roll up.
Bet there wasn't.
How long do you think it took me to do that with fruit roll up?
An afternoon.
An afternoon. That's right.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that.
Doctor, my memory.
You are. It must be. Do you now to be so self-satisfied? Is it good? Does it bring you joy? When you go, yeah.
More than self-loathing, yes.
I got stuff pretty much together. Oh, I see.
I'm not saying, no, I mean, I have both, and I prefer self-satisfied.
I don't see you as self-loathing.
Oh, I got it in me.
Oh, you do?
Oh, sure. Oh, yes.
How are you currently doing on that?
I'm doing okay. I have this weird, I'm in a weird, like, don't know what the next thing is phase right now. Mm-hmm. So, so part of that spectrum is nothing will ever happen again.
Right.
All the way to your dreams will come true, which
Yeah.
I don't even know what the dreams are, but, that's the spectrum. So I'm trying to figure that out. And then because it's always like, I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, not quite knowing what my next thing is going to be. So it's not terrifying.
Right.
But it's unsettling, and now there's also like, maybe you should actually think about making some money.
Oh, I see. So,
and then that brings in, that would be TV writing probably.
Right.
Which isn't my favorite thing to do anymore.
Is that the...
Just because it's going to an office every day.
Right. But now, you probably... It would be easy to get jobs now.
You'd think, but I don't get that sense because
Oh, because they want
Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm sort of 10 years removed from regular TV.
Well, how about
writing.
me? I'm like 30, 20 years removed.
Right, and how many writing jobs are you getting? Exactly.
I wanted to savor that.
So I don't even have an agent right now, so it's not like I even know what my market is, honestly.
Right, but
so it's all just
it's all stuff that's
all uncertainty and self-doubt, and then in my head, my sort of go-to self-loathing thing is you're lazy, but I don't I can always argue myself out of that, going, well, not really.
Well, the thing
I procrastinate some stuff, but I'm not actually lazy. If you look at,
I think everybody's problem is different, but the idea of saying that you're lazy is like one of the main things, is one of the 4 or 5 remarks that I could have about myself that are negative. You're lazy. It's too late. The other one is, what did you do? Is a classic in my life from my parents. What did you do? What did you do? How did you cause this trouble? Why did you do that? Why did you cause this trouble? So there are these go-to things that I do. And one of those go-to things is, it's so easy to believe you are lazy. That's the thing that I think has so much attraction to it, because I say to myself, your grandparents or your relatives had to dodge the Holocaust, or they had to do this. You keep comparing yourself. The insidious part of yelling that you're lazy is there's always examples to find out why you are lazy and have no reason to complain. You're not Anne Frank. You're not locked in a cubicle. What are you complaining about? But I say...
Yeah, that is not my spiral at all. But okay.
Well, wait a second. But inherent in the I'm lazy is some way... See, it could be different for you, but it's a way of motivating yourself, right?
Essentially.
Yeah. It's a way of motivating yourself, and it's based on this whole Christian work ethic thing, which I think there's something bullshit about it, because they're making it like, how come you don't, like, early bird catches the worm, right?
Right.
I'm never going to be the early bird. I'm never going to catch the worm. So why do I even get up in the morning and go, oh, I missed the whole early bird train?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think, I think if you're living a creative life, which I am, I guess, there isn't a schedule for it. It's just, sometimes there are downtimes,
Right.
I'm sort of used to the TV paradigm, which is very much a factory kind of,
Yeah.
the train keeps rolling kind of thing.
Right.
So to me, that's what working is, just in muscle memory terms, But the last 10 years, it's been all self-generating stuff. So,
Yeah.
the fact that I actually have is sort of
That you have what?
generated stuff.
Oh, yeah.
2 movies and a dozen DVDs and,
Right.
and a bunch of shows. And so it's like I can answer myself and go, no, you're not actually lazy. You have actually made stuff and done stuff.
Yeah.
It hasn't been marked by, success in quotes,
Yes.
but it has been marked by made it, finished it, put it in the world, made the next thing, put it in the world.
Right.
And that's really what I'm measuring myself by at this point. But when that stops and I don't see the next thing, then I start going, well, why don't you have the next thing?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm addressing that voice. To me, my
But I
whole
don't.
life
But
is-
I don't.
But you don't have a voice
I don't
like
beat
that.
the shit out of myself with
Yeah.
it. It just becomes like this sort of low level hum. It's not. I don't. I'm not. I don't look at myself and go, "You're an ingrate." I don't.
Yes.
I don't do that really.
No, you don't do that. You're not that hard on yourself where you.
Well, but I also.
yell at
I just have
yourself.
this like almost depressingly realistic take on everything. I have a very measured take on everything, which is I don't, I kind of see the cause and effect of my choices versus where I am,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, it is because you chose to sort of leave show business in some ways to make sure you were actually making something instead of just writing scripts for something that didn't get made,
Yeah.
That was my choice. But each time I made that choice and got farther and farther away from show business, it had a double-edged sword. One is, okay, great, now I get to make another movie,
Right.
but it's not taking me closer to show business. And so when it's time to go back, I'm now farther away.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying, or,
I know
or,
kind
or
of-
what I want,
I
but
kind of do know what you're
but I
saying,
don't
man.
sit here and go, it's not fair, because I don't think that, I'm
Yeah.
not sitting here going, why don't I have anything to do? Why isn't anyone calling? And it's like, well, it's very clear because you're not on anyone's radar because you've taken yourself off everyone's radar,
Right.
So
Right.
it's,
Yeah. It's a weird thing though, because when I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about how people motivate themselves, and the whole idea of you're lazy, taking it from me and you, is that true in all societies? I don't think it is. I think it's our society that has really bought into, and I'm not saying I want to be on ashram or a whatever
Right.
that is, kibbutz, but we have kind of bought into this, like, you got to get up early, get going, get moving on it. Are we going to get? It's like,
well, it's like if you're not working, in quotes, then your time isn't worthwhile.
yes,
And, I honestly don't think you can really measure things that way as a quote unquote artist. But, but because I have, locked up my art with commerce for a lot of my
Right.
time, it's hard not to think of it that way. It's hard not to think of, why aren't you doing something big right now? Or why,
I guess
because I'm actually happiest when I am, wearing a project and doing it. And,
Yeah.
I love making stuff. I really do. So I know that I'm not in that so it's like, I'm not doing the thing that makes me happiest right now. How can I get there?
yeah. I guess I'm just fascinated.
It all
by
seems whiny.
It doesn't seem whiny to me, but
feels
it's like
whiny.
I'm just I always think it's I don't know, because I feel like if you were to decide, like, just the messages I got, which was like, if you want to be a writer, you got to be like, they're just missed messages or incorrect messages. You want to be a writer, you got to be like Stephen King. You got to
Right.
write these are things I've told myself before in my life. You want to be a studio musician, Andy? You better practice 8 hours a day. Now, I never practiced 8 hours a day, but I always had this guilt that I could be this studio musician. But then I realized I didn't want to be a studio musician, I don't want to be a quote screenwriter who gets up every day. It's like I do think there's a lot of the things where I can see in my mind I adopted what I thought I should be doing in my life.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I mean that's been my syndrome as well. But whenever I think I have the answer, I discover in some sort of very bald-faced way that that's not what I want. You know?
Yeah.
Like for a while, I thought I was a screenwriter. You know.
I remember that.
But I'm not. I don't want to be. I hate fucking sitting alone in a room with a script.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it if I have to, you know, and I'm okay at it, I think, you know, but it doesn't give me pleasure, you know. The pleasure is using that script to make something once it's done, you know, and the collaboration that comes
right
once it's done, you know. But the sitting alone, I've never been someone who loved writing. Never.
Yeah.
In my whole life, you know. I like writing jokes, but that's a different thing.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about is like the writing of jokes, which comes like, it's like, seems to be the ability to be funny or try to be funny or look at things humorously is just kind of built in,
Right.
you know? And, but I used to think that real writers did this or real comedians did, I had all these different views of what someone should be if they're going to be responsible.
Right.
And I don't know why for many, many years, I was just like, I gotta get up tomorrow morning and put that time into studio musicianing. Until I realized, you know, it took, but I'm a slow learner. It took me so long to realize that I was chasing the wrong, you know, but I did come up in a very strange time period where everybody was competing to be fast guitarist. Everybody, you know, I think rock to make a living in rock and roll once you knew, you know, and your heroes were Dylan and all these, like, I mean, it's like there's a life out there it doesn't even seem like it was a real life that happened that I felt like I didn't share in. Oh, I wasn't the Beatles or I wasn't the whatever. But it's a lot of this outside in thinking about what you should do with your life. Maybe that's just age though. Maybe when I was younger. I don't think I'm that way now, but when I was younger, I was very much wanted to be part of something.
Yeah, I did too. I wanted to be, you know, one of those guys, you know, but I don't know. It's a weird thing because the part of what I'm sort of most at peace with and kind of like about my life the most is that I don't have these unfulfilled I don't have unachievable ambitions anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like stardom is unattractive to me, and that sounds like an easy thing to say, you know, because it's unachievable, you know, but it's not what I crave at all.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look attractive to me. I don't need to be, I'm not that needy anymore. That attention is
that's definitely an age thing too.
Is the be all and end all for me. I don't feel that anymore, you know. Nor do I feel like I need a shit ton of money to be happy, you know.
Yes,
I like, you know, definitely upper percentile, you know, is good, but I don't feel like, you know, I'm 2 houses away from my dream house, or you know,
right.
I don't feel any need for upward mobility anymore. So, you know, so those things are great in terms of just sort of day-to-day mental health, you know, because I don't feel a longing, you know. I feel more a sense of accomplishment than I do a sense of longing.
Right. Or I have to have, or neither one of us have, or maybe that's susceptible to, I got to have 9 cars. Or
I don't have any of that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not very materialistic, you know. If my computer works, I'm generally pretty happy, you know, and I don't love expensive shit. I don't have that expensive tastes except for like food, you know.
Yeah.
And so
weed. I like weed.
I actually do like the good weed, I have to say.
I've been smoking a lot of weed.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So, but the downside of all of that is I'm not ambitious. You know what I mean? And so before that was part of the engine.
Well, this is the thing
of what moves you along and moves you forward and wants you to get into that next thing fast, you know, or, you know, and or at least go out and ask people for things, which is not my forte, you know. But when I was younger, I could do it a lot easier, you know. Now I just don't like it. But So there's a double-edged sword, and it's not even really a sword because neither is terrible. It's a good thing to be basically comfortable and happy, but there is something, you can lose your edge, I guess is what I'm saying. And I feel like to some extent I've lost that like
chasing,
go fucking play the game edge,
yeah. Well, the thing
I kind of like being off on my own, but that's not, I don't have that whole equation covered. I don't know how to make that
right
viable. And I don't like, I'm the kind of guy who can get thwarted for a week and a half on an email,
How do you mean like that?
I mean, like I've got business emails I have to like.
Well, it's the same we're the same person. Well, what happens to you? You look at that email.
Right,
just
but
like,
for me, it's a week and a half.
Well, me, it's years. Yes. Oh, wait a second. You're telling me I'm worse. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible way you dress me up. When you say it that way.
When you say, we're the same person, it goes, Ivan.
No. I was hoping for 1 second that we were.
Yeah.
But I guess not. So what is stopping you from that one specific email?
It's just that mental block. Just like literally, it's it's like, cause I have to like take three different emails, take attachments off, write an email that explains a bunch of things to an accountant person who has to write 2 different checks to 2 different things. And so,
Do you keep coming back to it?
No, I keep going, I got to do that.
So it's not done at all. It's just,
I'm going to do this today.
How long would it take?
Do it today. It would take me 10 minutes. Literally 10 minutes.
Maybe we are lazy assholes.
So but there's those kind of things where you just go, I don't know where that mental block comes from, but it's clearly part of my wiring,
Well, the ambition thing, I have I think I have a solid philosophy about ambition. I don't know why. I sound like an idiot all the time. What's the matter with me? But let's just say that I sound like an idiot and continue.
Well, you have the hood on right now.
It's really,
it's not undermining your idiot argument.
Wait, who said I was an idiot? Oh, I said I was an idiot. When the ambition that you have, the wanting to be a star, that we all, I had. I'm not saying
I still have tremendous creative ambition. I think,
right?
But it's all self-measured.
But I'm just saying, like, if you said, if you said to me, Andy, if you walked into this store and a couple of people recognized you, would that be good for you? Of course it would be good for me. That's what it's been for me. So when you argue, I'm not into it. I'm just saying, like, when you argue, I'm not into it to be recognized, or I'm not. Of course I want to be. Everybody wants these things that some people don't. They really don't. But right. Everybody wants a certain amount of success and recognition. It's fine.
Right.
The point is, that's the part of life that you can't control. And that's the part of life, I think, where people, and I'm going to talk about myself too, where people get stuck too. Like, for me to realize that all those years, it was all about how I felt about my music. It doesn't matter. Do I then say, well, now if I started, would I have a music career? In a way, it's unknowable and it's not important when you get into these parts of, like, how famous should I be or how this should I be. Those things are never controllable. The only thing you can control is how you're feeling in the moment. And that's all I'm doing now, is trying to get that, whatever you want to call it, Buddhist thing where for me it's panic and telling myself there's something wrong with me, and then off, and everything is a deadline and everything. And so I'm trying to undo that whole life thing that I've done my whole life, kind of. And just because the truth is, I could say to myself I'm lazy and still kind of believe it, I think.
Right. Well, but the nice thing about being a comic is you can be both.
Yes.
And that's part of why I can't be just a comic, is because it's not enough shit to do for me. I can't live that killing the day to get to the night thing.
What are you talking about? What do you think I am, a monster of some type?
No, but I think that's what I thought I wanted. When I started doing comedy, I thought this is the fucking life.
Yeah.
But only because I actually went to work for all those years,
right,
and worked, hard all day every week. That became just part of my rhythm. So when I go back to just doing a stand-up week, it is like I am pacing for hours.
Well, that's it. No, I think that I think that what you're talking about there is really kind of a key to life in a way, and a way that if you are a comedian and you go on the road, you learn this, but you wouldn't learn it in any other job where you're like, okay, you only have to work this hour that night.
Right.
And so now you really can construct your whole day if you want to. So I think it just teaches you about yourself.
Yeah,
that most people wouldn't be able, because they're not taking themselves out of their regular environment.
Right.
You know, and that's what I think is kind of good about being a stand-up. But it definitely makes you at some point you're alone with yourself. On the road.
And I kind of, when I was a kid, I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
I loved 12-hour drives sometimes. Just because
Right, you just enjoyed the stimulus of whatever you were
and it
doing.
was freedom, and it wasn't school. Because I was literally a kid. A teenager out of high school. So it was like, this is so much better than high school. This is so much better than a job. And I just I had no problem with the alone part of it. Now, married 20 years. I think of going out on the road for a week as lonely now.
Right, right.
That's why I like going out with friends when I go out, because that's fun to me, hanging out. But it feels lonely now when it's just me.
Well, because also you have a whole other life at home.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were younger,
the life comes wherever you are.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's another thing of ambition where it's where I have trepidation about stand up now, where it's like, there's fun gigs, which is what I do,
Right,
and then
right.
there's real gigs, which is what I'd have to do.
You mean like if you want,
if I wanted to really
career,
yeah,
thing,
if I
or?
wanted to really get back and be a comic, you know? It's no longer attractive to me,
Was it attractive to you like about a year ago or 2 years ago?
Kind of. It's abstract because doing 7 shows a week is incredibly attractive in my head. But I only imagine the shows. I don't imagine the other 23 hours a day that I fucking hate.
Well, okay. So that my sister tells me that she's like, my sister is never bored.
Yeah.
She loves to read. She loves to be alone, and she loves to do these things. And I find myself, it's not that I'm bored, but I feel
trapped. When I'm in a hotel room, I feel trapped now. I feel very caged animally in a way that I don't feel at home, doing the same, sitting at my laptop, surfing the web. At home feels fine. On the road feels trapped.
Well, some of it is just that it's an artificial thing that you're reacting to. Like, anytime I go to a hotel or anytime I do anything, it's like, this isn't the way you normally live your life. Like,
right.
Because I used to say to myself, oh, when I get in that road, I'm going to write that speech from Montreal.
Right.
And I'm going to do I would bring paperwork with me on the road.
Finally, all the distractions are gone.
And it doesn't work that way.
It's sterile and...
Well, that's why I think that in my mind, it's so important for me to adjust, to address the voice that says you're a lazy piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Because that seems to have been the thing that held me down my whole life. Whereas I think sometimes somebody might need to kick themselves in the ass, but that's never good for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, little bursts of self-loathing will generally get me through the wall, where I just hate myself, and it's like, okay, stop, and I can kind of do that, where it's just like, why don't you stop whining and just fucking do it,
Right. Yeah.
and generally that's what happens,
Well, because I think that ultimately, whatever gets you forward in a way that is cool, that's okay. Works for different people different ways.
Yeah.
So you're not that mean to yourself in general.
No, I'm generally not. Because, I have the mean voice, but the more reasonable voice is louder and more reliable.
Well, luckily through therapy, what I've learned is that what's going on for me in each moment is different than what I think it is. So I can, if I was alone, a lot of things about life wouldn't come up for me. It's easy to be. But as soon as you're with people, and as soon as you're in a marriage, and as soon as you're in these important, intimate relationships, that's when it starts to. That's when it addresses how you are with yourself, and how you feel about yourself, and how you motivate yourself. And I don't know why I said that.
Being around people is what tells you about yourself.
Okay, so I lost the thread. Here's the thread.
Okay.
If I come home and I'm seeing Susan and I haven't seen her all day, I generally have a thing that now I've learned about this. I didn't know about this. It was like, all right, the Andy Kindler Show is heading back home now, heading back to the apartment. I hope I have a good set. It's the same thing I'll be with you. I'm going to Josh's house now. There's still that part of me is like, don't be too obnoxious. You know what? I just realized because it probably does work. It does work to some degree.
Right.
Just shut up. Like I said to myself while I was doing this thing, I go, stop saying, That's just me saying, you are talking. I am hearing you.
Right.
You will know that, you will probably know that you probably know if my attention, I don't have to go, Right?
Right.
So.
You're baiting me that time.
So what I've learned about myself is that going to Home Depot or making our house, like you haven't even been to my goddamn house yet because of our issues, but of making
I'm glad your brother could get in.
But the idea of making our house the way we want to make it, getting rid of my storeroom that I have, just enjoying life is about finding out what comes up for me and why I go into these different mood things. Like, why am I avoiding all this stuff? Why does it make me feel? Now, sometimes you can just say, okay, you just have to do it. Enough already with the why are you doing? You're not doing it, just do it, which you can do to some degree. We all do that.
Right.
Just get up and put that email on the thing.
Right.
But I would very quickly go into depressed states or into other states just not knowing that I was going into those states because that's the way I deal with life. And that's what I want to be different now. I want to go to Osh. I want to go to return my clothes. I'm trying to think of something you don't like to do. I wanted to have that be in the moment, but really be in the moment thing. It's like easy to say, be here now and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But a lot of times it's the hardest thing to actually learn or to believe.
Yeah.
And I think we both have tendencies to get bored, though. Is that the thing?
I think that's part of it. I don't know if it's an ADD kind of a thing or just kind of a.
It's an equilibrium type of a thing, maybe.
I don't know, but I get bored and twitchy pretty easily.
Yeah, because if you told me that today was the last day of my life, I would savor every moment of it more. But it's hard to.
But I don't get like I'm bored, but I get creatively bored. I get routine is what gets me. I mean, that's, like I don't get bored necessarily within the course of a day, but, if I do the same thing for a couple weeks, I start to go, really? Same thing today?
It's so weird though, because like to me, to find out, mostly for me, it's stopping panicking that makes my life good.
Yeah.
And realizing that I'm not always, but many times I'm in some form of get the hell out, you're late, and it has taken me 1.5 years of therapy to realize the simple thing of like, you need to be at Josh's house at 9 is the main thing. Even though I'm not always doing it. But the point is, those simple things that most people do with their lives, I don't do with my life. It's too much agonizing and panicking. And so the more I can just relax and say, I don't want to, but that's the thing about getting older. The ambition thing goes, what is a kid? A kid has that kind of like, I got to be the best at it and I got to beat everybody.
Right.
That's a natural aging thing to realize that was kind of an illusion, thinking, I'll be happy if I have $5 million.
Because you're just guessing about what would make you happy at that point in your life,
Right, but you can't ever say like, if you say to yourself, I wouldn't be happy if I was rich. You have to say to yourself, well, you would be somewhat happier. You wouldn't be.
Yeah. No, I don't, and I'm not like, that's why I said, I mean, that's, it's not like I don't like money, but what I know about it is I like the comfort
Yes.
that money gives. I like the lack of worrying about money.
Right.
And that's the main, that and convenience are the two things that money buy for me that give me the most pleasure.
Right.
Much more than possessions,
Yeah. Well, I think we're both on our way to being
perfect.
Perfect adults.
Exactly. We won't need this podcast anymore.
I think one of the things my problem is, not my problem, but I'm always trying to figure out how you're like me.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not.
Well, we're both Jew comics.
We're both Jew comics, but you're not hard on yourself like I'm hard on myself.
I'm not hard on myself.
If you are hard on yourself, you're not as hard on yourself.
I'm totally not as hard on myself
That's right.
as you. Absolutely.
That would be great.
I've said this a million times. It is way harder to be you than
Well,
me.
why don't you teach a class in it or something?
Because it doesn't apply. These are all very tailored internal switches I flip.
All I am saying now is a learning annex thing you can get involved with. Come to Josh Elvis Weinstein. You've seen him here. You've seen him there.
Right.
He's going to teach you to enjoy your life more. Lesson 1.
How to get to the middle and not regret it. Should we...
Sure.
Do you want to go to questions?
We should have a song for the questions. Oh, you've got questions.
I think I was going to ask you for this week's therapy card, but I think we pretty much...
Oh, yeah. Let me just see, though. I did make a therapy card.
Yeah.
And I wrote on it, I don't trust people, and I think I will be abandoned. This is the same song I sing all the time.
Yeah, that was last week's therapy card. But
It's
that's a
last
bigger
week's
issue.
therapy
That's a
card.
bigger issue than 1 week, though.
Yeah, well, I was hoping to have it done by now. I think I will be abandoned. I don't know why that is, but probably I was.
Yeah, I got to go.
So, how's everything going in terms of constructing? I just want to construct a paywall.
Yeah.
Build that paywall.
Let's go to the question.
Are we selling stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Alex hasn't been...
Is Alex in the country?
Alex is not exactly forthcoming with the data. So, I don't know if that makes me suspect we're selling a lot, which I don't suspect.
I had a phone conversation with Alex this week. What happened to phone conversations? I'm getting, it took me 7 days to do it, but I did it. And he's having trouble sleeping, and I think he sounds like he's me.
He wanted to share the experience with you?
No, he was just asking about it.
Yeah.
And I said it's a tough thing.
Sage.
No, I think he has similar issues that I have.
Yeah. So you're more like Alex than me.
Are you an Alex? Which one are you on Friends? Are you Horace or are you Mel Blanc?
Horace.
I can't think of Phoebe.
Yeah.
Chester. Name me the people on Friends. Phoebe.
Funcy.
Come on, what was Matthew Perry's character's name?
Chandler?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now when you realize that you're able to answer these things, it's not that great.
No, it really wasn't. But it was there.
All right, so now it's time on the Thoughts By. Please write to us at _ and keep it coming.
Mark Thompson wants to know, curious how much control you both feel a stand-up has over the audience. Are there tricks a comedian can use to warm up a cold crowd?
You want to go first?
Well, I mean, the main trick to warm up a cold crowd is have funny things. Yes, saying the funny things. Yeah, I mean, yes, there are tricks to controlling a crowd, sort of, but I can't necessarily. I mean, I don't have them listed, but obviously there are things you learn that are subtle and unconscious, I think, in how you control a crowd.
Well, also, it depends.
The main thing is just command, it's just having command of the stage and not being apologetic.
Well, that's my wheelhouse.
Well, that's why it doesn't go so well.
No, but the thing about it is, depending on what your problems are, like I had specific problems, so like I could bail so quickly on things that it was ridiculous. So Try not to bail on the crowd. Would be a note I would give to myself.
Right. Don't scold the crowd.
Don't scold the crowd. But and, these are things that I've done. I've scolded the crowd.
Yes,
I've gotten mad at myself.
That was a real world example I was using.
Yeah. So it's like, but then I don't think you can ultimately control anything. I mean, I think you can have an influence on it, but I do believe in the surfing analogy of like, you're riding the wave of the set.
I mean, the real difference to me, though, I think, is leadership. And I don't mean that like, Dale Carnegie wise, but I just mean, I can feel it sometimes when I go on stage after a kid, and the audience changes, because I'm in charge.
Well, there's that confidence level, even if your thing isn't to be confident.
It's comfort, yeah.
It's comfort on stage,
right.
And it's just when comics are new, you can feel, and I don't remember, I mean, sometimes I've forgotten all the years of agony I went through.
Yeah.
Where you're questioning yourself.
Right.
Doesn't seem like me.
The 142nd fastest gun in the West. How does Andy feel about having a Pokemon character, presumably named after him? What would the...
I would love it if I know the character. I do know the character, too. What's it called?
Kindler Andy?
Yeah.
There's a picture of it here.
This has happened a lot to me. People have pointed this out. So we know it's not named after me, right?
I would think it probably is.
How could that be? Who would know about me over in Pokemon Land? Is that where my target audience?
That's where your star is shining bright in Pokemon Land.
Well, do you know the method? Do you know how it's done?
I don't know any of it. No.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If we knew about Pokemon.
The second part of his question: what would the Thought Spiral interactive game experience be like?
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's very much how you listen to the show now. You listen to the show, you're like, oh, I hope it gets better. I hope I'm entertained.
Well, first there'd be the walkover, the virtual reality walkover, and it's like Frogger, but with Andy.
What's Frogger?
Frogger was a early video game where you had to cross the street with a frog.
Oh.
Donkey Kong era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then you'd sit here and whinge with Jews for the rest of the game.
Right. Let's get that going.
I never used the word whinge before this show, by the way.
I heard it only from my dad.
Yeah.
Stop with the whinging.
I don't think
I looked at...
But it's onomatopoetic, so...
Yeah, I kind of didn't look it up till about 4 years ago.
Matthew Mitchell, not a question, but a request for Andy to do his Greaseman voice. It is sublime.
65 degrees down Los Angeles, the Greaseman coming down, bang, bangy, bangy, and the boom, bangy, gonga. All right. The Greaseman all night. Now, that sounds like Tavish Smiley.
Tavish Smiley.
Yeah, the Greaseman. Dingy, dangy, dang, dang, ding, ding, doom, dang. The Greaseman. What was his trip? You never heard him, right?
No.
Oh. If anyone gets a chance to listen to the Greaseman, he's... you can't understand how he got popular.
Where was the Greaseman based? Here?
I think Washington or something like that. And then he used to go, hang, dang, dingy, dangy, dingy, dang, doom, dang, Greaseman. The Greaseman. Why is most of my...
I'm going to believe that is an incredibly good Greaseman impression.
Most of my impressions, all they do is entail me saying the name of the thing.
You're not text rich.
The Greaseman. But he did this thing like a how they do the dingy dangy. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
You know who does a great Greaseman?
Who?
Grouper.
Really? Okay.
Oh,
I'm having lunch with him later this week.
Who I think does generally great impressions.
Once it's in his wheelhouse, he's there.
Like Todd
Carlin. That wasn't an impression, though. That was a character.
That was a character. Sorry.
Josh Caterer says, your impression of a baby singing Chico and the Man was hilarious.
Oh.
Would love to hear more baby voice TV themes, especially Cheers and or Welcome Back, Kotter. That's pretty easy. That's pretty easy to fulfill that request.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Welcome back. The dreams you're thinking of. Welcome back to the same place that you are. Making
Gilligan's Island, Baby Man. Why is the baby knows so many things? We're moving on up. How do you do Baby Man? I don't know. You'll have to take another class. Is it in the back of my throat?
Oh, yeah.
Let me hear.
That's good.
Why do you give me a look like I could never do this? What are you, Mel Blanc?
I am certain you could never do it. That's why. All right, you nailed it.
How about have you heard my... What's that guy? Bonking Pig?
What?
What's the Porky Pig able to do that?
Porky Pig stutters?
They go...
That's all.
I hate it. I hate it all.
Are you
Take it away.
Donald Duck is what you were trying to do?
Yeah. How do you do that? What is the joy that men, is it men mostly who have with doing these voices? It always was bothersome to me.
It makes people happy, Andy. It makes people happy.
That's why I hate it.
I know. Darren M. Crilly. How come Andy Kindler wasn't on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Why didn't Jerry Seinfeld get in the car with Andy Kindler and have some coffee? Who are these people who haven't been invited on Jerry Seinfeld's show? Hi, Jerry. I'm Andy. I happen to like third wave coffee. Oh, very interesting, Andy. Do you like my 1982 Tarantula? I don't know. You're losing the voice of what you were doing. Who likes coffee? Today on the show, comedian Andy Kindler, who's made fun of me in his State of the Industry speech. Why would I have him on my show?
There's your answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Why don't I not burn a bridge and then see how that works?
Adam Levin, maybe Levine. I'm going to go with Levin. There's no E. For Andy, I used to go to Largo in the late 90s and thought all the comics were inseparable best friends who hung out together all the time, being hilarious. What was it really like?
That's an interesting thing because I think that is the thing that we always, when I look back at these experiences of like the Largo time period or on Cabaret, I always think of it from my own pain because you're trying to come up in a business and you're this, I wouldn't admit my jealousies and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it was not as much fun as it looked. But what the person was seeing was real because I think all those people I would hang out with, Pat and all those guys, Paul F. Tompkins, we all were Maria Bamford. We all hung out and we were having fun together.
Right.
Did I explain that in a confusing way or just boring?
No, I thought it was good. Right. It was sharp.
Sharp.
Yeah, I mean that was a great place too, and I did some shows there a lot. I would do stuff with Gruber there a lot, and part of it was just the atmosphere. It was just sort of kind of bohemian paradise atmosphere there,
right?
Where you were. I think anytime it's comedy in LA, there's some sense of competition.
Yeah,
but there's also this sense of like genuinely enjoying other people's shit too.
Yeah, and that was an exciting. I mean, that will always be. I don't want to be a person who is like just looks to the past. But that was an exciting time period when Largo and the thing about Largo, when you think about it, was we all used to hang out, but you really couldn't talk, really,
right? Because
the stage was right by the door. And so sometimes you could talk, but then you didn't. I never really wanted to because I always wanted. It was like so amazing. I wanted to see the show. All the
you
time.
Could either be upstairs in the green room above the kitchen
and see nothing,
or you could be in the back of the room saying nothing.
Did you ever hang in the green room?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that.
Mediocre pasta.
He never had great food, did he?
It wasn't great food, but you had to order some at Largo.
Oh.
At the old Largo.
Oh, for money-wise.
Yeah, if you wanted a table, it was mandatory food.
It was a 2-entree minimum. 2-entree minimum. Why did I think that was funny?
I don't know.
Something.
Try the spaghetti bolognese.
All right.
Yoshi Yamamoto, what are your go-to weed strains? And do you like experimenting with new strains, or do you stick to what you know?
I wanted to experiment with new strains, and I've been getting some advice about restless leg syndrome. I guess CBD.
I can't stop my leg. I can't stop my leg.
Every time people call back Robert Klein's, I can't. Alex did it today too.
Really?
Or whenever I talked to him on the phone, he can't stop his leg. I did speak. I think I did tell you that a friend of mine, Michelle Balloon, her husband's a chemist or something like that. I forget. What
Wink. Yeah.
What?
Chemist. Yeah.
No, but he said that there is so much more to go in the fields of these strains of pot,
Right.
Because it's been illegal all these years. It's been hard to keep the progress,
Yeah.
so you can measure it. But I am realizing that I used to think I just liked sativa, and now I'll try many things.
Well,
You're indica, right?
No, I'm both.
Yeah.
I'm like daytime sativa, nighttime indica. But,
Yeah.
for sleep, I use indica.
That's what I'm trying to do.
My
too.
favorite sleepy, my sort of go-to strain right now is called Magic Beans for indica sleep.
Really?
Yeah. That's been for the last year or so.
I'll bring you I have one of them. They were giving. I'll give that to you. A joint. So
cool.
Magic Beans on it.
Yeah, I got a Magic Beans joint the other day too. It was good.
I'm never going to smoke that joint. Now, are you worried? Are
Bring
you
it
worried
over.
that? Well, do you think I'm getting very Cheech and Chongy about all this?
No.
Like it's
You're
going to
still
be my
Jewy.
shtick.
You're still very Jewy. You're more Doug Benson-y than Cheech and Chongy.
I feel very like I'm a Joel Madison kind of. Like, this wasn't Joel. He got so excited about the different strains.
He's still excited.
I see no downside.
But I have go-to strains for. I've been actually liking some of the classic strains lately. I like lamb's bread.
Now, when you say classic, you think that it's universal over different shops?
Well, some are. There's some strains that are like long time strains, but there's you'll go to most stores now and they'll have 20 different hybrids.
Yeah.
That have names that aren't even going to,
I had Jack Herrera.
Jack Herrera is one of those classic strains.
Yeah. And do you know who he is? I finally figured out who he was.
He was a big pot activist.
Yeah. I just love it.
And that's a great strain.
It is a great strain.
But like Lamb's Bread, Maui Wowie is a classic old strain, but it's also really good. And then, I always like to try.
When I go into the pot store, the only thing that is a problem, though, is I never want to buy the lesser quality of anything. This is why I think I'll be homeless.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've been smoking pot my whole life. You can't, yes, I'll take the most powerful. Right. And the edible thing, I just don't understand what's going on with it. It's just really unpredictable. Yeah,
I've never had...
You don't like it at all, really.
I've never had any luck with edibles. Yeah. I really just don't feel much with them.
I like the sativa.
Even like super crazy powerful edibles, I don't really get much from.
Oh, no. I've had bad trips on edibles. I've had bad trips on everything.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have, and I've always been like, is that all there is?
You're almost like a Superman when it comes to drugs. I am like that,
yeah. Well, in so many ways.
Do you think you couldn't overdose on heroin is what you're saying?
I probably could.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah. Nicky Pockets.
I love that name.
Wants to know, hey, it's Nicky Pockets. Hey, yeah, Nicky Pockets.
Yeah, Nicky Pockets. You got a problem with it?
What's the TV series / movie that you guys think is the extremely underappreciated? And what is one that is so overrated and doesn't come close to the hype? TV series / movie. So,
well, there's a lot of hype about Big Bang Theory. I don't get it, but I do see why people like the show.
Yeah, so that doesn't qualify, really.
Yeah, it's not overrated then.
Right.
Well, what is overrated these days?
I don't know. What do you think? It's an opinion thing.
Well,
I get the sense that Game of Thrones is overrated.
Oh, I see.
I haven't watched enough of it to really get behind that assertion, but it feels overratedville to me.
Well, people say it's like they watch it because it's sexy.
Yeah. When you say sexy HBO, I think, oh, so there's breasts in it.
Well, they also have those shows I love, like Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yeah.
Where people say weird things.
That's a good show. That would be one of those underrated shows, maybe.
Underrated show, yeah. We didn't help
or underrated movie.
We didn't help with that at all. Oh, my favorite movie that I've seen so far, but I haven't seen them all, is Lady Bird.
I just saw that last night.
What'd you think?
That's great.
So, see, Lady Bird, I wanted to. 3 Billboards left my mind very quickly afterwards, even though I liked it. There's a certain style to it that I don't know if it worked the whole time, whereas Lady Bird worked the whole time to me.
Yeah, Lady Bird was great.
And I love Laurie Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf was great in that movie. She's such a great actress because she can take things to the edge of bigness without leaving reality.
Have you met her?
I met her once at Roseanne when I was like there with Paul Feig or Joel Madison or something.
She's like one of these people who's just so goddamn funny. She's always been so funny.
Yeah.
You know?
She's a Steppenwolf theater person.
What's that? Who are those people?
That's Chicago based with like
not Timothy Timothy. What's his name?
Susan Sarandon's ex-husband, Timothy
Flair.
Yeah,
Robbins.
Timothy Robbins. It's Gary Sinise and John Malkovich and her and
has Gary Sinise?
John Mahoney, who just died, was it part of that?
John Mahoney died.
Yeah.
You mean the guy from
Frasier, the dad on Frasier?
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
I just realized I mixed him up with the guy who was in Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Jerry Orbach?
Yeah.
He died longer ago.
He did.
Yeah.
He came and saw...
You know who died today?
Who?
Marty Allen.
Oh. Marty Allen of Allen and Rossi.
Yes. Hello there.
Hello there. And is Rossi still alive?
I don't know. Probably.
That's a bad sign when you have to say, I don't know, probably. Is that going to be about me one day, me and you?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't know, probably. Is Andy Kindler still around? Well, Josh Elvis Weinstein is.
Sure.
He's got the 3 podcasts. He's got the soup kitchen. I once got the biggest argument that my friend Bill Kaufman and I had, and it was an argument that lasted, and we used to have a lot of these types of arguments. We yelled at each other in Vegas for probably 2 hours about how much Allen and Rossi were making at Vegas World. Vegas World was this...
Bob Stupak's Vegas World?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was literally like...
It's what the Stratosphere is now.
Yeah, I could see that. But it was so cheesy and so great. And Allen and Rossi played there. And so my friend Bill was claiming he thinks they made $20,000 a week playing there. And I said, I don't think there's any chance that they could have made that. But I think, who knows what the Vegas money is?
They could have made $20,000 a week doing that many shows.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But then we had another argument once about in movie theaters. He said it's all about the refreshments. It's not about the price of the movie. I said, well, the price of the movie is a factor. So we had an argument about that for 12 hours.
Good. Sounds fun.
It's like
I wish I was there.
It's like the argument I had with early Facebook arguments, I remember now.
Yeah.
Are so stupid. I can't believe that I lived this long, or I can't believe that I could be this petty without being named Tom Petty. It's just like, when I think about stuff in my life.
You'd be more like Irving Petty.
Who's that? His brother?
his whinier brother.
Yeah, Irving Petty. Hey, easy, hey, James Petty. Take it down a notch.
Irving Bitterman. One underrated movie, I think, Broadcast News. That's my favorite. My favorite.
Why do you think
my favorite?
underrated?
Not just because it's not talked about anymore.
Oh, okay, maybe it's not, but I love that movie.
I mean, I think it had success in its day.
Yeah,
but it's not. I think it should have more.
I think you're right.
More.
I'm fairly certain I was right in telling you.
Yes.
I feel fairly good about it.
I can sing while I read. I am singing and reading both.
It's amazing when you think about the fact that you think he must have written that dialogue, but he didn't. It was James Brooks.
Yeah, but I'm sure he brought a lot to the table. But he was so perfect in that.
Oh God, what a great movie!
Yeah, I just love that movie. Moving on. Michelle.
I don't see enough William Hurt anymore. What's he doing?
I don't know.
Okay, what am I doing? I think would be the better.
I don't see a lot of you.
Hey, I think we've reached a nice rhythm now on the podcast.
It's really good.
When I came in, there's something wrong with me. I always think it's me, and then I started to be weird.
You charge out of the gate. You don't.
Yeah, I charge out of the gate. You know what? I think that's one of my things that maybe I'm going to hang back from now on. Wait till the final stretch.
All right. Michelle Wisecarver wondering what Andy's go-to coffee brewing method is. Parentheses, I'm a fan of pour over. Well, let's do that part first. You're a
You
pour-over
hate.
guy.
You don't want this, Josh.
I don't. But what's your favorite method? It's
Okay.
It's an answer.
I would say that there were of the 4 methods that I used, that I like them all.
What is your okay? Then
I would say if I had to choose one,
You
it would
do.
be Chemex.
Chemex. Okay, that's a pour over though, right?
That's a pour over. Well, they're all in essence. All of the ways I make coffee are either what they call pour overs or their immersion method.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God! Why do you
Also,
say that you're willing to talk about it, and then I got to get that
Because
reaction?
I just wanted the answer.
All right, good.
You're the one who made the snoring sound. I didn't.
True.
Also, to both of you, did you ever cross paths with Richard Jeni?
Yes.
Always found him to be a great comic, very underrated, not talked about much today.
I did know Richard Jeni.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and I knew him from way back at the Showtime Comedy Club Network, for years ago when Igby's he did,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sad thing when that he was so sad, I guess, when he committed suicide. Right? Why do I
Depressed.
What's
Sad.
the point
Sad
of it?
is not really.
They're not asking me what is your depressing end of the Richard Jeni story. He was a very, very funny stand-up.
He was a great stand-up,
Yeah.
and he was sort of the epitome, I think, of that. He was one of the sort of peak exemplars of 80s club comedy.
Right.
Just that powerful joke, total command of the room.
Total command and total confidence.
Total confidence.
Yeah.
Super funny, super fast. And a nice guy off stage.
He was a very nice guy.
I only
He was a
worked.
sweetheart.
I worked with him once years ago in Minneapolis. I don't even know if I worked with him. I might have just been hanging out at the club that week, but he was fun. He was nice to everyone, and
Yeah.
he was funny as hell. And it was,
There was there are a couple of people who have passed away under terrible, like Drake. Say there was one who was just bad, bad circumstances, and Richard Jeni.
Yeah.
Were just like horrible ways to go. But why do I still dwell on it? Let it go already. It's over. I love Drake Sather was great too.
He was.
So I don't have pain like people do.
Sky 2 says, if you ever decide the Huell Hauser bit is getting old, could you keep doing it anyway and call it the Andy Devine bit? Tried my Thought Spiral mug today, too, and I'm pleased to say it's functioning normally.
How was the Andy Devine? Andy!
The only thing is, hey, Wild Bill, wait for me! That's all I know. And Andy Devine has his pal Jingles.
Now, the night that Jimmy Stewart had the change in that movie, and he was happy again, did he run by various places he'd been to before? And was he excited to be by those places?
Merry Christmas, you old West Saloon, you! Merry Christmas, livery stable! Merry Christmas, apothecary!
Get out of here. How about all those people?
Merry Christmas, you old blacksmith!
But all these people, when he imagined that he wasn't around.
Merry Christmas, Miss Kitty and all the girls up there!
When he...
Merry Christmas, Pony Express teller!
Even you, Mr. Potter. Even you.
Merry Christmas to you in jail.
And you told me, what is it? You told me, you were going to tell me.
You once called me a warp-frustrated old man. What are you but a warp-frustrated young man? Miserable little clerk crawling in here on your hands and knees. Nothing but a $500 equity in a life insurance policy. You're worth more dead than alive.
Merry Christmas, house at the end of the street who I never knew lived there.
Merry Christmas, house that gives out full-size candy bars.
Merry Christmas, your old savings. Merry Christmas, your old savings alone. Why would you say Merry Christmas to an inanimate object like
It was
that?
a building loan, first of all.
Building alone?
And it was his family's company.
And what would the telegram say? Stop. From your brother, Sweigel. Auga! Auga! Don't they have a thing they say in the whole movie? Auga! They have a callback.
That was from Sam Wainwright.
What did he say?
Hee-haw!
Frank Capra is a genius at kind of like creating that built-in thing in the movie that's already happening.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we all kid around.
This world was here before you got here.
You called me an old. When are you going to launch into your Christmas story impressions? I can't get my tongue off the thing.
Ebenezer Scrooge lived in a small house above the...
Marley was dead as a doornail.
He was dead as a doornail. Lolita.
Who is that voice? Is that like
It's my James Mason.
Ah, that's right. Is that what that guy does? The crooner guy.
Who?
The crooner guy.
Which crooner guy?
He's making movies about the West now, and he's Family Guy. That guy.
Oh, Seth.
Yeah. All he does
MacFarlane?
is old impressions, right? That have already existed. Peter Lorre. I'm sorry. Is he a good friend of yours?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you ever try and watch American Dad?
No.
Not good.
No.
Not good. Not good.
Bob Furu. Mm-hmm. What's your personal experience with prayer? Dubious practitioner? Lapsed? Afraid of what answers you might hear coming from the CPAP? Thanks for putting the fun day back in Monday.
I believe in prayer.
Do you?
And I don't have a problem with prayer.
Do you have any prayer stories? Like, do you have any? Can you, when you say, like, has there ever been a time where prayer has been an effective thing for you?
I've never specifically measured it that way.
I don't mean like cause and effect, you
right?
know? I don't mean like you asked for something and got it. I mean, has it ever given you? Has it ever been?
Yeah, I would pray before I would do spots on Letterman.
Really?
Yeah, just a quick prayer. Please,
Yeah.
God, help me with this. Get me through this. Mostly when I'm panicked. But I don't pray so much as I'm into meditation. And I think sometimes you pray when things are really hard, like you know, like when you pray. But some people never would do it because they would just feel silly doing it.
Yeah. I don't remember a time where I actually sincerely prayed, and where I felt like this will help, or this,
Well, when I say
I've
please-
certainly prayed, because you grow up Jewish and they teach you how to do that. But it's never been my go-to
Right.
thing.
Well, when you say please, please God, get me through this experience on Letterman, and I feel weird while I'm saying it. As
Yeah.
I'm saying it, I feel weird. I just think it's so odd that people think, why would you even say it? You don't have any proof. It's like this whole idea of you have to have proof for things. I think the idea of like people say thoughts and prayers, when they say thoughts and prayers, unless they're Republican jerks,
Right.
I think about the people. I try to think about them. It's like, I'm not thinking about, what does it do? It does something for you, the prayer person,
Right.
Yeah,
it makes you feel like...
Why does everything sound like I'm trying to convince you of something, and I'm even making a point?
Because I'm not that argumentative, and
I know.
it kind of throws you. You only have that gear.
Yeah, that's all I can do, is argue with you.
That's right. Joan Tuzet says, does Andy want to buy my top-of-the-line CPAP ResMed S9 machine? I haven't needed it since I had septum surgery. Low miles.
It sounds good. Are you supposed to? Is that the way you're supposed to buy it?
Than a used CPAP machine?
Oh, it has low mileage.
At least it's from a girl, so it's girl germs.
That would be so much better. I could not have a guy's, and that's not an anti-gay thing.
No, it's just...
Why would it be?
Okay, so we'll put a pin in that one in case you need that.
Yeah, what is it?
discount,
Well, does it show a picture of it?
no, it does not. You'll
Well,
have to
some of
look
them
up-
you-
you can look up the model though.
Well, you breathe. Some of them are nose. Some of them are nose ones, nasal ones, and some of them are mouth and nose.
Right. You're gonna you're gonna
Get
get
anywhere in
there.
there.
Pool and a pond.
Well, it starts
pond's
to-
good for you.
It starts to fight. It starts to move you along, like where you if you don't keep breathing, you're in serious trouble.
Keep up. Alex asks, who is your favorite Letterman guest?
Oh boy, I had so many favorite guests. I love Chris Elliott. I love Bill Murray. Bill Murray.
Harvey Pekar.
Harvey Pekar was incredible.
Brother Theodore.
Brother Theodore, I haven't watched so much. I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Steve Martin was great.
That would be a show that I would put on my underrated list too. the Late Night with David Letterman, the NBC show.
Yeah.
Like, that was an important show in the comedy world.
But don't you think people acknowledge that?
I don't think so. I think people,
Yeah.
it's sort of because he was on CBS for so long.
Yeah, people forget that.
It wasn't the same show.
No.
CBS was not just a continuation of the NBC show. The
Although
NBC show really was like a clubhouse feel. It was really like a...
I think after his heart stuff, I think he started to have more of that because he didn't care as much about it.
No, I don't think the Ed Sullivan theater show was bad. It was just a different animal.
Yeah, and
he declared it was going to be a different animal when he moved. It was
yeah.
He felt he had a different responsibility at 11:30 than at 12:30.
There's no way you can recreate how important that was. I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying. It was so much of a seminal show.
It was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like such a cultural shaper of our. We're not the same generation, I guess, but of Gen X especially. Like, that was a pretty seminal tone setter.
I'm one of the oldest people of my generation. I always have to point.
Speaking of generations, happy birthday the other day to my brother. 50th birthday of my brother.
Wow.
Older brother.
50th.
Yes.
Why do you remain so young? I don't understand it. I'm going up, and you guys are still in the 50 thing.
I'm in the 40 thing.
I
Don't
don't
forget
get
that.
it. How? 45?
I'm 46.
46? It doesn't seem right. It makes me angry.
Does it?
Yeah.
Lash out.
Fuck you, young man.
Ah. Well, give it if you're not into the on-air questions, write us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
If you're not into that, like what it's like.
It looks like this is I'm operating. I know Andy doesn't answer a lot of them. Wow. He reads them all.
Yes.
And I read them all, and I'm at about a 10-day lag, I would say, right now.
That's not bad. There's ones I want to get back to.
That's about my guilt window.
So then you feel like you have to do it.
And then
right?
I just do them all at once, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every 10
Well, that's the only part of my personality that's missing, is the part that at the end goes, do it.
Yeah. I have a tipping point where the not doing it feels worse than the doing it.
Ah.
That's how I get through
I
life.
wish I was you.
It's always that tipping point.
I wish I could parent myself.
Everything I do during a day is because of that tipping point. Check out my film, I Need You to Kill, at Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, pay-per-view. Check out I Wish I Were Bitter at iTunes.
I wish I was bitter.
I Wish I Was Bitter, sorry, Andy's special.
And you know about the whole thing where they said that was incorrectly phrased, but it's really not incorrectly phrased.
It was such bullshit, man.
Yeah, I'm so sick of it.
God damn.
What am I complaining about?
And do you have any dates coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to be in March 10th through the 12th, I think, in Vancouver. My wife's coming with me.
Cool. Where in Vancouver? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It's like some offshoot of the Just for Laughs.
Okay. If you're in Vancouver, Andy Kindler, March 10th through 12th.
And then I'm going to be in Houston March 1st through the 3rd.
Very nice.
At the Joke Joint.
At the Joke Joint in Houston.
Yeah.
Very nice. And those are actually plugged in time.
Right.
Very nice.
Well, it'd be great if I could put them on my website.
I'm getting my MRI next week.
Oh, the one that follows the first test.
Yeah.
The blood test.
MRI and CAT scan. So I'll tell you about that 2 shows from now.
Oh, so. You know I'm going to be all over it.
And that is all.
That's it. We love you very much. You know, a lot of people have been writing to me personally about how they wish that Josh was as excited as me about ending the show with a big bang every time. And a lot of people write to me, they go, it must be very difficult working with him. He's constantly nagging you. And I'm not sure the point of what I'm saying it is, but I'm just saying that a lot of people love the fact that I'm constantly in search of a good ending.
Oh, this is the rock